Welcome back to Bulletproof Mindset, Scotland's #1 health, fitness and entertainment podcast. So today's episode, we have a very special guest. We welcome Sean Casey to our show. Now, for you guys who do not know Sean is dominating the fitness online space. He has over 4 million followers across all these platforms, but more importantly, he's been able to scale a very successful business while making a huge impact on everyday people's lives. Now, Sean's journey is truly amazing, but it's also really inspiring, and I think you're going to really enjoy today's episode where we talk about his success, his future plans, what he's doing inside business, what type of mindset to have. We cover it all. Now, for you guys who don't know Sean, we're going to leave his social posts below. Give him a follow, check out his stuff. It is really great. And as always, before we get into today's episode, if you're watching for the first time or if you haven't already, make sure you leave us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening to the show. And if you want to boost your testosterone and see your sexy faces, head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel and tune in there. One thing to mention about today's episode is that this was the first online interview that we've done, and we made a huge mistake not wearing headphones. As you can hear the voice recording play through the mic, so there's a tiny little bit of an echo, but it's still manageable to listen. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the show. Thanks for your time, first of all.
I know, thank you so much, mate. I was not expecting when I put in the group you said you would come on. Honestly, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So James,
I really enjoy doing podcasts. Oftentimes I'm very busy, so I can't always get onto them, but especially if someone's reaching out from within the social circle, I'm like, if I can make the time, I'll do it. But even as I said these before, I'm like, right, we're doing this, we get the hour, and then I'm fucking doing stuff after, so let's just go. I'm just trying to ram everything in. I have this launch on Monday, so I'm launching the academy again on Monday, so it's all systems go with it. But podcasts are, even though I'm the big short form content guy, like I love short form content, that's how I've built my businesses and stuff. Podcasts are my shit. Like I love coming on and having like a good in-depth conversation, because you just can't get that with the short form stuff.
No. You can't at all. So tell us, obviously you're saying you're launching the academy next week. What is involved in the academy for them to listen?
Yeah, so the academy is basically like my group coaching platform. So like a lot of people do one-on-one online coaching, it's the same as that, only I have a massive amount of people that want to work with me, so I do it in a group setting. So the academy is basically everything that you get from one-on-one coaching, but at a fraction of the price. The only difference is it's not like one-on-one check-ins, but people will be checking in the group and stuff like that, and I'll respond to every post. I run all of it myself. But this is the first time I'm actually, for this challenge, I'm taking on coaches, because I'm going to be building out the app. So I need coaches for it. So it's like a trial run for them on this one. So it's my, everything I talk about in social media put into one place so people can actually work with me.
So this is quite fascinating. I saw on your live yesterday, this is the last ever one then. So almost like the
last ever
finale.
academy.
Yeah.
Because then we're moving over to the app. So the app is like the academy. I can maybe work with like 700 people, but there's thousands of people that want to work with me. So it doesn't make sense not having something that can serve all of them people. So the as I said, the academy, you work with hundreds. With the app, we want to work with tens of thousands.
No, absolutely. It sounds like an amazing vision. So before getting into that, let's take it way back. I know you've done so many podcasts talking about your story over and over again. For our audience that will be hearing you for maybe the first time, give us like a bird's eye view of your journey, because it's not been an overnight success, but for the journey that you've been through, I don't think you were expecting that this is where you would be at the age of 23.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't been an overnight success, but it has happened rapidly fast. Like 4 years ago, I was still at uni. I was drinking 3-4 times a week, partying all the time, 2-3 day benders. I just lived for getting on it. That's all I cared about. I didn't really care about fitness. Didn't really care about going to the gym. Because see when you're on a good session, like, you know what I mean, with the lads, and it's just a hard session, like, and you're on it still, and it's getting to that time where the off license is about to open
back
again.
up.
So yeah, instead of sleeping, you just go and queue outside the off license and get another carry out, and then go back on it until the next night. There's something really beautiful about that. So I just loved doing that, and that's all I done for years and years. And at the time, it's such good crack that you don't even think there's an issue with it. You don't think there's a problem with going drinking. You know what I mean? You're a student, you get a pass if you're a student. But then after a while, I started to be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life here? I'm literally just drinking, living from session to session, partying. I used to be in shape. I used to do boxing. I used to be an athlete, and now I'm out of shape. I'm just drinking all the time, and I'm just known for this person that loves a session. That's all I was known for. Like, see now, people come up to me and be like, "Oh, Sean, I follow you on Instagram and stuff." Back in the day, people would come up to me in nightclubs and be like, "Mate, I follow you on Snapchat. Your Snapchat stories
Yeah.
fucking
Stories are
crazy."
wild.
Yeah, I would just be documenting. I'm gonna have to share some of my Snapchat stories sometimes, but I'd just be documenting the session like 2-3 days. And then one day the cons start to outweigh the pros. You know, you're feeling a bit down in the dumps all the time during the week, in between sessions and stuff like that. And mentally, it gets to you, and then you're like, where the fuck's my life going here? I'm not actually working towards anything. And then that's when I was like, right, I need to sort my shit out firstly, get in shape myself again, lose a bit of fat. And then I figured out how to do that. And I was like, the only thing that would feel better than doing this myself is helping other people do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I started making, firstly, we probably wouldn't have happened, but we went into lockdown, so I didn't have anything else to do. I was like, we're in lockdown. I actually can't drink, go out, party now. So I got in shape, and then I started making YouTube videos, and made my first YouTube video, shared it on Facebook just for like friends and family. Everyone seemed to love it, and then I started posting on TikTok, Instagram, etc. And then it just naturally, people seemed to like the content. Like when I first started posting, it was a lockdown hobby, so to speak. Didn't have a business, wasn't a personal trainer. I just wanted to help people with free content. And then now it's snowballed into all of these different businesses, 5 million followers across all my socials,
Insane.
and just madness. Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think anyone's ever had this happen in such a short period of time in the fitness industry, because it's never been possible, because there's never been this amount of opportunity to reach so many people with social media. So the likes of like James Smith, Jordan Satt, Darren Cartel, they're all like the leaders of the industry. But for what they have, it took them 10 years to build to that.
Yep.
Whereas I've been able to build to the same level, and like, I'm not saying I'm the same level of someone like James Smith. Not yet anyway. Give me a few months once along.
No far away. Far away.
I wouldn't say
but
too far off.
but in terms of following and stuff like that, I've been able to build beyond in a very short amount of time, just because of the opportunities with social media and stuff. So I definitely got into things at the right time, and it snowballed, and life's just flipped. Like the people that know me from back in the day are like,
who's this?
What's the crack with you, lad? Like you were literally on a session in my gaff literally a few years ago. Now I just seen your Instagram pop up, like it's freaking me out. So yeah, it's a bit of a mad buzz, but
that's awesome. So there's so much to unpack and so much value that we probably get just chatting with you. Now, out of all the podcasts that you've done, we listened to a good few of them, and the thing I wanted to kind of touch bases on through this process, because us as personal trainers and coaches and anyone you speak to, especially with the social media content, there's so much with that. But when you're creating content, anyone that I've spoken to has this sort of imposter syndrome, because you look up to the likes of James Smith and Darren and Jordan Syatt, and you see all these people doing videos, and maybe you got into that before there was a lot of your feed was fitness content. But have you ever experienced that yourself?
Yeah, so my version of imposter syndrome is quite different than a lot of other people's. A lot of people are like, oh, I have imposter syndrome, I shouldn't be doing this. But for me, like with the social circle and with my businesses, with all the followers, I'm like, I know I'm extremely smart. I know that I have value to provide these people. With the social circle, I'm not like, oh my God, all these people are giving me their money. I deserve this. I'm like, holy fuck, look at the results I'm getting. They should be paying me more. So it's not like an imposter syndrome in like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. But it's more like how the fuck has this happened? How have I built so much knowledge? How do I know so much about social media? How have I created a course that's literally a monopoly within the UK and Ireland? So it's not like my imposter syndrome is like, I think I'm lacking knowledge, or I don't think I deserve to be here. But it's just like, how in 4 years, how the fuck has this happened? Like I honestly, I'm like, I know that I'm good at what I do with my clients. I know that I'm the best coach for my clients. Like there's a lot of bodybuilders and stuff that will be pure like, oh, how the fuck do you have so many followers? Because you take fucking Susie down the road and you'd put her on a 1,200 calorie chicken and broccoli meal plan. Whereas I have an empathetic approach and I actually understand how to be the best coach for my clients. So there's no imposter syndrome in terms of like, oh, like I don't deserve to be here. But it's just like, I don't know how, like, because I just had no interest in doing anything to do with health, to do with fitness, to do with business a few years ago, and now I'm obsessed with it. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how it's surreal. It's not really imposter syndrome, but it's just quite surreal how all this has happened.
Yeah.
But like I'm extremely confident in what I do, 100%.
Yeah. So see with the success that you've got in that time, is there are you ever truly satisfied? Because you get to a level now, and obviously you're developing an app, and then we'll talk about what the future looks like for you in a sec. But that, I would imagine, that wasn't on the cards when you first began.
Yeah, satisfaction is boring. Like, no, you're never going to be satisfied no matter what you do. You always just want more. When I first started, if you told me I could have what I have now, but it would take me 20 years, I'd be like,
Yeah,
fucking cert, let me sign the contract here now. That would have been, I suppose, satisfied. But what is satisfaction? If you get to X goal and then you're done, there's nothing else to do. For me, I get satisfaction out of the journey, out of progressing in the right
yeah.
direction. But that doesn't mean that I'm waiting for anything to be satisfied. I fully understand that I'll never be satisfied no matter what. But I don't put emotional attachment to a number of followers or an amount of money that I'm making. I'm not like, oh, I need to be making X amount of million to be happy, or I need 2 million followers on Instagram now before I'm happy. What I need is progress in the right direction. I don't care about money. I don't care about, or actually, I lie. Obviously, I care about money.
Yeah.
Obviously, I care about followers. But I don't put an emotional attachment to it, and I don't think that I need to achieve this amount of money or this amount of following to be happy. However, what I do think is that I need something to work towards to be happy. So when the app launches, it's going to be making the app better. It's going to be getting more users on it. It's not because I need more users for more money, but it's because I gamify life. Otherwise, it's boring. I just always want to get to that next level, but the game never ends until you die. Then obviously it ends. But I want to get to as high a level as possible. But I'm happy now. I'm happy with everything that I have now, but I always want to be progressing in the right direction, because that's the real fun. Often when people think that they need a certain amount of followers or a certain amount of money before they are complete, that's when they feel the most empty, is when they get there and then they realize that that's not what they wanted all along.
So I totally agree. Like, the journey is always better, but you've just hit 1 million on Facebook and Instagram. How must that? I must feel like it must feel a little bit of satisfaction from that.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought I was going to feel more when I hit it in TikTok. So when I hit it in TikTok, I'm not gonna lie, everyone always says all wins feel the same no matter what. Nah, a million's different gravy on TikTok. So when I hit a million on TikTok, I was like, holy shit, literally had like pins and needles all through my body. I was like, this is unreal. Obviously, after about 10 minutes, I was back to normal. But I thought I was going to get that same feeling when I hit a million on Instagram. Hit a million on Instagram, I was like, don't really care. Mum came in, was all like, oh, you hit 1 million followers. I was like, yeah. And obviously I made a reel and stuff about it and was like, this is mad.
Yeah.
Wanted to show my appreciation, but I didn't get any,
feeling.
fuck, this is so crazy. But it is like 1 million followers on Instagram. That's like the pinnacle, especially within the sort of industry that I'm in, the sustainable fat loss industry. That's like the most amount of followers people tend to have.
Yeah.
Like, it's only super celebrities that have like way more than 1 million. So yeah, it's like,
yeah, and it's probably a testament to everything that you have learned in the short space of time, like how to gamify social media and all the stuff that you do with the social circle. See, on the following side of things, because I find a lot of people chase growing their followers and trying to get tens of thousands of likes and posts and that. Is that what's that experience been like for you? Because chasing likes and chasing actually creating impactful content, it can almost be like two different things in a way, depending when you're first starting out, for sure. Do you see a lot of that in the space through the coaches that you're helping, like the mindset and that shift that they need to have?
Yeah, it can be a dangerous game because followers and engagement are good, but followers and engagement for the wrong reason are stupid.
Aye.
Like, if you're a woman and you're a personal trainer and you're looking to get content, or even if you're a male as well, just posting thirst traps, because that gets you lots of likes, gets you lots of engagement, gets you followers. But fuck all people are going to buy your coaching.
Yeah.
They're just following you to see your hole. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
Fucking true.
So
you never done any of those TikTok dances then?
No,
we couldn't go back far enough to see any.
But it's like, there's a happy medium. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and say a following it doesn't mean anything, or a following isn't important. If I didn't have all the followers, I wouldn't have all the businesses that I have now. But it's following for the sake, like, every single piece of content I post, I'm like, that's a fucking good piece of content. I'll watch it back a few times myself. I'm not posting stuff just because I think, oh, this will just do really well and get me followers. I'm posting stuff because I want to provide value, but at the same time as providing value, I have a certain blueprint and a certain strategies that I apply to that valuable content in order to get it to get more engagement and get it to get more followers. That's what I've built the social circle of. So for me, it's extremely cool to build something like the social circle and have people that have valuable content actually get that message out there, because for years it has been people without any strategy at all that are just posting stuff that, like, that misleads people or captures their attention in some way, but is just a blatant lie. And they're the ones ones that get all the likes and they're the ones that get all the followers. But what I'm doing now is taking people that actually have value in their content and teaching them how to get that out there without having to change their messaging or without having to post different types of content, because I think it'll help them get more followers. Let's look at your existing content and just make it better.
Yeah. So obviously I'm in the social circle. I think it's a fantastic product, but over the past year I've been focusing on being the best PT I possibly can be. I've just started getting into it again. But one of the maddest things, right, that I'll always remember when I started watching it, how many videos you used to make, or like how many you tell people to make on TikTok, and that's how you get that's how you get, obviously you start understanding what videos work and what videos not.
Even with that, the fact that you don't have anyone help you create this content that's just now, you've grown your following without a team. I know you've just started looking at bringing in other coaches and that for your businesses, but how did you even get to that? Because the time that goes into editing a video at the start, fucking phenomenal.
It's hard.
Yeah, I don't trust anyone enough to edit my videos. I'll take a piece of content that I'll record and I'll be like, that was shit. But then I'll edit it. I'll put the bit that was at the middle, I'll put it at the start. I'll put this bit here. I'll swap this around. I'll cut that out. I'll be like, that's actually a good video now. So there's actually a lot of nuance that goes into video editing, and there's a lot of nuance that goes into the way in which you clip things up and taking certain things out, understanding, mate, that's 20 seconds worth of talking that I literally said at that other part of the video.
Yeah.
There's no need for that to be there. There's nuanced understanding what words you should actually zoom into, what words you should emphasize. And there's just so much nuance that goes into editing. So for me, I'm extremely lucky. A lot of coaches just want to coach and they hate social media, they hate editing videos. Whereas see me, I fucking love sitting down and just making a banger video. And then see, once I make that banger video, it's almost like my reward. I'm like, I know this is a clinker. I can just sit down and edit it and put it together and watch the masterpiece just unfold in front of my eyes. So like I just love every sort of part of the process of content creation and business and coaching and everything. That's why I've been so successful with it. It's because there's not much of this that I don't enjoy. There's not much of this that needs motivation, and everything's always doing well. So that pushes me forward anyway. But I'm fortunate that I do that. That's the main difference a lot of the time. The people that don't do well with their content, there's a lot of coaches that are extremely knowledgeable, but their content doesn't do well because they don't enjoy creating content. So they just produce less of it.
Yeah. So me and James are very different here. We both love creating content. The editing side of things I generally do enjoy. I used to make the COD clips and all that back in the day, and I really enjoyed doing that. James, on the other hand,
so no, I don't mind that. I prefer if I'm doing it on the phone, then it's all right. But like, I know I need to get more into enjoying it. Yeah. I've been enjoying it the last like couple of weeks because
I literally just use my phone. I just use my phone to edit. That's all I've ever used. All I'm doing when I'm editing is clipping it together, adding zooms, adding subtitles and things like that. But you're ahead of the game. You've got the COD editing experience. I actually used to have a YouTube channel. I think it was called Dopey Gaming. There was no editing, and it was just like recorded straight from Xbox. You know, when you had the Kinect, and you'd say Xbox record that. Like I just had quick scoping clips in there. Like so that's about as far as I got with it.
So talk us through, like, what does a day look like for you if you're in control of a lot that goes on across multiple businesses that you have. So you've got your coaching element, you've got the social circle, you've then got the content creation that you have as well. Like, what's a typical day look like? Are you batch recording your content or what?
Yeah, so you've got a few different segments to my work. You've got the essential work, you've got creative work, and you've got growth work. So the essential work is what needs done every single day. So every single day I need to wake up and I need to reply to clients in the social circle, in the academy, and then if I'm feeling like it, I'll do social circle DMs as well with inquiries, get back to people there. I'll not do them every single day because it's not technically essential. It is essential to grow my business, but like I actually need to reply to the people that are paying me first. So I'll prioritize that. I'll do the Facebook groups usually. I can get up and do that in the morning while I'm walking. I can go through the Facebook groups. I can go through my messages, do them while I'm out on my morning walk. And then the creative work is content creation. This is creative work at the minute, recording podcasts, doing social media, editing and stuff like that. That's going to take up a couple hours. And then growth work is like, what can I do to move the needle forward? Is it thinking of a new business, thinking of the app? Before I joined the social circle, I would have been working, or before I started the social circle, I would have been working on the social circle. That's the growth work because it's not paying me yet, but that's going to grow me in the future. Yeah. So what can I do to either create new businesses or like it's not essential work to do now to keep it ticking over, but it's what work to do that is going to help grow it, whether it's adding things or stuff like that. So every day without fail, I'll do the essential work. Basically every day I'll do creative work, and then the majority of days I'll do growth work as well. So it's like get up, essential work, create content, chill for a bit. Not gonna lie, I'm not the most productive person. I'll spend a couple hours scrolling per day. Well, maybe not a couple hours, but at least an hour and a half scrolling, because it's just in between work. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're super successful. What's your productivity routine?" I'm just like, I'll sit down to edit a video. I'll get halfway through it, and then I'll scroll on TikTok for half an hour just because I get fucking bored, and then I'll go back to it after. So not the most productive person, but I get the shit done that I
That
need,
makes me feel
need
better
to
about
do.
myself. That does.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, not always the most productive, but I get the essential tasks done. I get the creative tasks done every day, and I don't think I'm doing too bad in the growth tasks, judging by how things have went the past
Nice.
couple of years.
Oh, that's cool. That's good because I think everyone thinks there's a secret sauce to like content creation, that it needs to be or record the 7 days of video in one day and all this sort of stuff. You end up overwhelming yourself, and I think from what you're saying is you need to figure out what works for you then. Because
Yeah, I
everyone's
don't
gonna be
batch
different.
content. I forgot you asked that. I don't batch content. Some days if I'm feeling good, I have more creative energy, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna bang out a few videos here. Like when I was in Marbella, I would have been like walking down the strip, getting ice cream, doing things. I was like, right here, just take this phone. I'm gonna record 4 videos here, so I don't have to worry about it the rest of the week. But for the most part, I'll record 1 video per day.
Good, good. So your business is taking you all over the world just on that subject then. So you've been fortunate enough to been to Australia, Marbella. What's been some of the amazing places that you've travelled to because of where your
Yeah,
business is
so
taking you?
just this year, like at the start of the year, I was home, and then I went to Australia. I was in Melbourne for a month. I was in Sydney for 2 months. I was up in Gold Coast too, so that was really cool. I went up to Gold Coast to meet Adam Sullivan. I'm not sure if you know him,
Yeah.
Evidence Based Training. He's the Aussie guy. He's fucking legend. Like he's smashing it. He's driving a Lambo and a G wagon. Like, so that shows you how well he's doing. But he was a great guy. I've made a great connection with him. So met loads of people in Australia too. But it was good to go up to the Gold Coast and meet him. Came back and I was in Marbella for a couple of weeks. Was doing a speaking event. I was in Leeds actually before that doing another speaking event. And then I was in Greece with the family, and all the time, no matter where I am, business as usual. The only time I took a week off was when I was on a family holiday in Greece, and that's the first holiday I took properly in like 3 years. Like I've been on holiday, but I've still worked while I was on it. I was on the first morning, and I was doing Facebook group messages, and I was like, you know what? Like I genuinely could do with a week off here. I didn't really know how much I needed it until I actually took it, but I just
Yeah.
posted in the Facebook groups being like, hello everyone, I'm off the grid here for the next week. And people were like, completely fine, mate, you fucking deserve it. And it was good just to recharge the batteries. But it's usually all systems go no matter where I am.
Awesome, awesome. So where do you think you'll end up settling down? Do you think you'll stay in Ireland, or have you got your eyes on somewhere?
See, to be honest, I'm happy enough at home at the minute. I was originally meant to be going back to Australia in like October, but I'm busy here getting the app launched, things like that. So I'm happy enough to stay here. But it's one of them things where next week I could be on a flight to Australia, or I could be on a flight somewhere. I use home as a base.
Mhm.
And then I'll travel around a bit, but I don't have my eyes set on anywhere. But it's comforting to know that business will still grow no matter where I am.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate move that most of us, well, certainly in our space,
Absolutely.
strive towards, of being able to, no matter where we go, that your business can still grow and or whatever it is that you're doing. You said that you were away with your family, so I'm quite curious. Like, how is your relationship with your mum and dad? Like, got what is it they do? Like, how is your upbringing and that sort of thing?
Yeah, relationship with my parents and my family in general is great. They're very, very supportive. My dad is an IT project manager. My mum's a teacher. So from the very start, they've always been like super on the ball, like being like, yeah, get after it and stuff. Like
Awesome.
maybe at the very start, they didn't realize the opportunity that was in it. They were probably like, oh, you're not really taking university as serious. You're focusing on this. But then like once you pay the fucking mortgage, they probably see that, yeah, no, there's
Does this
something
actually
in this.
something
Like,
to this?
yeah. So yeah, they're super supportive. They're great. So I couldn't ask for much more. And it's the small things like anytime I'd hit like a follower landmark like 100,000, 500, my sister and my mom and dad and all, they'd always like buy me balloons. I don't really care about the balloons, but it's just nice to show that
Feel
they're
appreciated.
on board with everything, and they appreciate and support what I'm doing. So while the balloons don't mean anything, it's more like what they symbolize. So I do appreciate that they make an effort with that side of things.
What was it? What was the light switch moment then? So obviously you take it back 3 odd years where you went, I can make a really good career out of this.
Fuck. There's been a couple, but it's at the start I done the maths, and I worked out that if I had X amount of clients paying me something like £30 a week, whatever way I worked out, I was like, I can make 30 grand off that.
Mhm.
And that's very realistic that I could make 30 grand a year, which is much more than I'd be getting for any like graduate job.
Mhm.
So if I can make 30 grand a year, what I need to do is I need to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. There's bound to be 30 of them. I think it was 30 clients I needed that I could turn into paying customers.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit, there's fucking money in this. And like it's something that I really enjoy. So like I'm just going to go for it. So that's what I wanted. I wanted 1,000 subscribers and to be making 30 grand a year. But then obviously as time went on, I launched the academy, I launched the ebooks, and like only a couple of years after I would have launched, like there was 1 month where I launched the academy, and I was only relatively new into it. It was like a year and a bit into it. I launched the academy, I launched ebooks, and I think I made like 50 or 60K in a month. And I was like, fuck, this is a bit crazy. So that was the first sort of like mad month. And
Yeah.
then obviously since then, with launching the social circle, with having 2 more ebooks, with doing things on a much larger scale, you're making a ridiculous amount of money. And for me, as I said, I'm not really that materialistic. I still live at home with my parents. I don't really buy that much mad things. And now I will buy a couple of things in the pipeline, but for the most part, I'm quite like I don't really need the money. But it's nice to gamify life and be able to always
Absolutely,
make more. And it's also nice to be able to give back. Like I give a lot of money to charity, I sponsor people like sports teams, sports people in the local area. So it's nice to be in a position where you know you're making the money and you know that you can make an impact with it, and you know that you can give that money back to people that deserve it, as opposed to I want to make money because I want to fucking have like all this mad shit and go live in Dubai and stuff.
yeah.
Where like it's just nice to be in a position where you don't have to worry about it and you can give back.
Yeah. See, with that then, what was from a monetary perspective, what was the first maybe income that you started receiving, or wage slip, or however it is that you pay yourself? Like, what was the fundamental where you're like, holy shit, man, like there's more to this? Has there been milestones throughout your career so far?
Yeah, there's definitely been milestones, and I'll never really talk too much about like income, but I've went through a lot of like basically things that like would be the pinnacle of like making that in a year. You make that in a month, and then you're like, fuck, this is a bit crazy, and then you do it again, and then you do it on a month where it wasn't even any launches or anything. So I've been through the milestones. I've made like like more money than I could ever imagine. But again, I don't really have emotional attachment to money.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I need to be making X amount of money before I'm happy, or I need to do this. It's just like, as I said, it's gamified, but it's just like for me, I know like the potential for it's ridiculous, the opportunity to do really really well here, and literally not just be like well off, but be like set your generations of families up for posting fucking videos on the internet, which is a bit crazy when you think
Yeah.
about it logically. And that's why it's not imposter syndrome, because I know that the value that I provide is in relation to how much money I'm earning, but it's more like surreal syndrome where you're like, what the fuck is actually going on here?
Yeah.
Like,
How do you, because if you look at any other 21, 22, 23-year-old that maybe gets a certain level of financial success, there is a materialistic lifestyle on social media now. That doesn't come across in your content whatsoever. So do you think
No.
that comes from your upbringing at all, or like would if
I
you
just
been
don't really
different?
don't really give a fuck that much. Like, and like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll share the odd thing, but like, this podcast won't be live, so bought a Tesla for my mum. I'll give it to her. I'll share that and stuff on my social media, because I just think that's a cool
That's
landmark to
amazing.
share. But for example, if I buy myself a really really nice car, I probably won't share it, because I just I don't know what value people are getting from that. And I'm not saying I definitely won't share it. At the same time, I don't want to hide that I've bought myself X item, because I think that that's going to turn people away from me. But at the same time, I understand that the majority of people are struggling financially at the minute, and the majority of people that follow me are struggling financially. So it definitely wouldn't be a case of my full page just turns into flexing on how much money that I'm making,
Yeah.
because what the fuck's that got to do with helping people achieve their fat loss goals? So don't get me wrong, I'll share the odd thing, because I should be able to share things that I'm proud of, but I'm very cautious of what my page is and what's it for, and it's not to flex on people constantly or shove things down their face like, oh, look how much money I have. Because at the end of the day, the only reason that I have money is because of all the people that follow me and all the people that are nice enough to buy recipe books, to join my academy, join the social circle. So I appreciate that, and I'm not going to turn into one of these people that thinks that they're better than anyone else just because they've got a bit of coin.
Oh no, absolutely. So it sounds like the advice to someone maybe who is younger and does come into maybe a little bit of money, the reason that you are taking your success to the next level is because it's getting reinvested then back into your business. Like imagine
Yeah.
like with coaching, overheads are very minimal, which is fantastic cost as well.
Fuck all. Like you don't understand. Like, say as an online coach, there's literally no like more straightforward way to make six figures. You're
Yeah.
literally you're not paying anyone. You have fuck all. You have to pay like Stripe and PayPal and the odd like coaching thing.
Buttons.
It's mental how little overhead you have as an online coach. But the main advice that I would give to someone that is a lot of people that have something to sell to someone else would be like, the main advice is invest in yourself. Join my business mentorship. Join this. It's like, invest in yourself, but invest in only things that are aligned with you.
Yeah.
Don't go invest in the social circle if you don't want to build a massive following. Don't go invest in a business mentor if you don't even like them. Like, if you don't like them but you just think that they're going to make you lots of money,
Yeah.
they're probably going to get you to do things that you probably don't fully align with. So don't just invest in yourself for the sake of investing in yourself. I think that there's this thing where it's all like, the more money you put into your business, I could go and spend fucking 20 grand on a business mentorship tomorrow, doesn't mean it would be the right one for me. So investing in yourself can be something like throwing 10, 20 quid on a book that actually changes your life. Invest in yourself is listening to podcasts, which are completely free.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself is if you do have someone that you connect with that's in a position that you want to be in and they do coaching, like, pay them. Like, when I first started, Tony McAlevey coached me. He was like one of the most successful local coaches in my area. He online coached me, helped me with my business. I paid him. I've paid a lot of money for like mindset coaching, things like that. But just don't invest for the sake of investing. Be smart with your money at the same time. Don't invest for the sake of investing.
Yeah.
And don't spend for the sake of spending. Think about it this way. See, when you're buying something, when you start making a bit of money, if no one else was there to see you purchase this, would you still buy it? So if no one else, if I wasn't allowed to post me buying a Tesla for mom on social media, would I still buy it? Yes, of course I would. I'm still going to post it in social. I think it's a cool thing to do, but I'd still do that. If I'm thinking about buying a car, I never really was into cars, but I bought myself a Golf R. And I was like, fuck, I love driving this. It's one I look forward to driving it every time I get into it. So if I'm looking to buy myself a nicer car, and I'm thinking, if no one else could see me driving this car, would I still buy it? Probably would. Then that's completely fine. It's having that happy medium. It's all like, don't never buy yourself nice stuff. Always do this. Always invest. It's like, don't invest in stupid stuff and don't buy stupid stuff, but still invest in certain things, buy certain things. And it's a different perspective because it is just keep putting money into yourself. It's like, don't put money for the sake of it, because a lot of the time people are putting money into things that just aren't making them a better coach, and it probably isn't actually good for their business.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome mindset to have.
I know,
sure.
absolutely. There's so many people these days who just flaunt money for the sake of looking better.
Aye, or put themselves in a more financially difficult position to show off to others. I think that's really what I see more of in and around our space.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd never buy anything that puts me I would never go and buy something that I don't fully need if it's going to put me in a hard financial position. Now, I'm lucky that I've got to a stage where I've built up money where I don't really ever have to save up for anything. I can just, if I want something, I can just go and buy it. I'm extremely grateful for that. But there is people being like, I'm going to have to empty my bank account to buy this car, and then I'm going to have to do this. No, that's fucking stupid. Don't buy the car then. You can't afford it. Don't pretend that you can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Only buy things that you can actually afford, unless it's something that you can't really afford, but you know that it's going to have great benefit to you and it's going to end up making you more money.
Yeah. So a lot of people look up to you in our space for the success that you've got and the lifestyle that you've created for yourself and the hard work that you put in. Who do you look up to, or who do you have? Is there any ongoing mentorship just now? What's going on in your life in that circle?
So in terms of like social media and business, there's a lot of people that I've drew inspiration from at the start, the likes of James Smith, Jordan Satt, all of these people. But see, at the minute, I'm not looking up to anyone and being like, oh, I need to be like that person. They're such an inspiration. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be Sean Casey and really good at being fucking Sean Casey. There's lots of people that I really admire, but I'm not looking up to anyone or putting anyone else on a pedestal, because especially for the social media stuff, for the social circle, like I'll fully, like I fully credit, like Tony helped me with my business and stuff at the start. Lots of people have helped me with lots of things. I fucking done that myself. I just learned, and I done that from posting. So I'm not like, oh, I need to be like this person, or they're such an inspiration. There's lots of people that are great people that I draw inspiration from them, but it's not like there's one that they're putting the pedal still. But again, I do mentorships, I do mindset coaching, I do all that sort of stuff. But I'm just trying to be the best version of myself.
No, good. I think that was good because we all try to be like someone else or apply someone else's framework, and like it'll work.
And you could
for
be
some-
looking up to
yeah.
someone, but because you're looking up to that just one small area of their life, when you don't realize everything else is going to shit. Like you have the celebrities who are like, oh, they're such a fucking good footballer. I want to be like them when they're older. When they're like cheating on their wife and
Yeah.
sniffing coke every weekend. So
Paedophiles.
probably don't want to be like them.
There's so
It's
much
crazy
that goes
these
on.
days.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier then, so you've done a couple of speaking events, but you've got a big one coming up. How are you with the whole speaking in front of a crowd? Because speaking to a camera can be nerve-wracking for some people. Speaking to a crowd of people, it's almost a different gravy.
Yeah, I'm not great at it. Well, like people say I'm good at it, but I hate it. I absolutely hate speaking in front of a crowd. I don't enjoy getting up and speaking. I actually get the reverse to what a lot of people get. A lot of people get nervous before it, and then when they start speaking, they're fine. I get the opposite. I don't really get that nervous before it, but as I'm speaking, I'm like, I want to get off this fucking stage, but then I have to keep doing it anyway. Like at the minute on a podcast is my shit. Speaking to a computer, it's completely fine. I love this. I don't get nervous for it. I just really enjoy it. But speaking in front of a crowd, for whatever reason, it's like, fucking hate this, get me out of here. But I know that I need to do it anyway, and I know that you need to do things that make you uncomfortable. That's the only way that you grow. So I'm going to continue to do it, even though I hate it, and hopefully I'll start to hate it less. But at the minute, I really don't enjoy it.
What are you doing to overcome that then? Does it affect your mental health like a lot, or is you pretty good with that?
Yeah, there's bits and pieces. Like what I'm doing to overcome it would probably be exposure therapy. Just keep doing it. I'll work with mindset coaches and stuff to try and get better at it. But yeah, it's 100% a tricky one, and it will be easy for me to just be like, I don't need to do this, because I don't need to do it. I don't need to do it. I could have a successful business, make millions and millions without ever having to do public speaking. But then I'm just hiding away from something that I don't enjoy the most. So I'm just going to keep doing it. And hopefully by the 100th time, I'll be comfortable.
No, good. What's it like then? So on the like mental health is a big subject in our space. As you start to get deeper into business or deeper into your work, no matter what it is you do, it could be coaching, it could be just whatever. Where has your mental health been? Have you experienced burnout, or has it been so exciting and something that you've really looked forward to that you've not experienced that?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you'll experience burnout, and that's why it was good to have that week off. But it's just about keeping on top of it. No one's fucking invincible. No one's invincible. Everyone's going to struggle with different things, but it's not something that I lean into too much.
Good.
Aye.
Good.
No, because I recently hung with a burnout, and I was like, I need to probably take a wee day off a week or half a day off and really focus on that's just me time. So do you have days off, or do you just have like time off?
I'm gonna start taking more days off. I didn't buy golf clubs. I got my granddad's old golf clubs there. I'm gonna start doing a bit of golf and do more things I can have a bit of downtime with. But definitely for me, I need something that I can replace work with. I can't take a day off work and just do nothing. What the fuck am I meant to do?
So hard.
Sit and stare at the walls. So definitely trying to implement more stuff where it's all like, I'm going to take a bit of downtime and stuff like that, 100%.
I think that's how so many people go in golf, because it's like you're not sitting in your bum doing nothing. You're actually doing something that's activating your brain, but you're not doing work at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to do something that gives you the ability to switch off.
Yeah.
That's why I like training and stuff so much, because I just don't switch off unless, like, I'm always thinking. There's always something to think about. There's always something to think about, or something to do, or like, oh, I should think of that for a content idea. I need things to replace work and content with, because in my opinion, this is the job that I'm most suited to in the world. I enjoy it so much. But I enjoy it so much that it's impossible to switch off. Sometimes I envy people that can do a 9 to 5, because I know when they clock out at 5 o'clock, the last thing that they're doing is thinking about work, whereas I'm just thinking about it all the time, constantly. So that's something that you dive into head first, and you don't really think about it at the time. But then after a while, you're like, holy fuck, I'm just always thinking about this all the time, which I love, and I should be thinking about it. But like, I need to sometimes maybe think about normal people things.
Yeah, we know that feeling. We know that feeling well.
Escape.
Yeah.
So what's your training look like just now? Because I've experienced that I've fallen off the wagon, and when I get back in, so being in the space constantly, you're training multiple people, or training a lot of people, and you go, right, I need to make time for my own health and fitness. So what's yours looking like?
Yeah, so at the minute I'm doing a lot of CrossFit. I always just done like resistance training, where I would just be lifting weights and doing things like that. And then just before I came out, the reason I went and done a bit of CrossFit was for the social thing, but I was going to Australia, so I knew that I could use that to make friends. I started doing a bit before I headed out, and then I went, done it in Australia, done it for a few months, and now I'm back doing it. I just really, really enjoy it. It's nice. It's something different. Now, again, it's not something that I would really encourage, especially if you're a beginner. I
We
think
say
I feel
this
like a lot of
all
people.
the time.
We get
Yeah,
a wee
I
bit of
feel like
controversial opinion on this.
yeah. No, I feel like right. So a lot of people go into CrossFit without any coaching on Olympic lifting, without, and you're trying to do everything all at once, and there's a high chance of injury. Now, the CrossFit gym that I go to, the coaches are great, but they also tell me that there's a very low entry to being a CrossFit coach, and a lot of people are starting CrossFit classes, and they're doing movements under fatigue that they shouldn't be doing under fatigue because they don't even know how to do the movement properly yet. So, as a beginner, I don't think that it's something that many people should be doing unless they have proper good coaching. But for me, I went one-on-one coaching, learned the Olympic lifts, learned the technique, and I just really fucking enjoyed it. It's really fun. It's something different, and you have that social aspect. So I understand the criticism that it gets. I understand that there's a lot of movements like the pull-ups and stuff that like aren't done, that like they're not done properly or with momentum. But that's just part of the sport, so to speak. But I'm really enjoying it personally.
Well, like you
I'm
said
really
there,
enjoying it.
it is a sport, but the low barrier to entry, it just takes a few bad coaches to tarnish the reputation of why you see so many. It's not even CrossFit boxes we see pop up. It's almost like they're like small group PTing, but they're doing CrossFit movements because you need a qualification to be able to run through the actual coaching side of things. So speaking about controversial stuff, do you have any like bugbears or gripes with the industry itself that you see? Because you are one of the leaders, especially from a UK and Ireland perspective.
Yeah, I've got like there's lots of things that I don't like about the fitness industry to do with misinformation, to do with how people run certain mentorships, how people do certain things. And I used to be very vocal on this, but now I've got to a stage where I don't call other people out. I just focus on what I'm doing myself. How can I help the most amount of people? Now, if someone's asking me about something, if there's something that I really would need to address, this new thing that everyone's talking about, I'm like, look, this is bullshit. But I used to spend a lot of my time calling out other people, other personal trainers posting certain types of content, saying this is bullshit, they're this, they're that, and then complaining about other people doing this and that, like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that, they shouldn't be charging that. But now I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to focus on myself. I'm going to focus on just providing people with good content with different things. I'm going to focus on building the social circle and helping as many people that want to work with me, and everyone else can do whatever the fuck they want because I don't really care anymore. I
Yeah.
honestly don't care. So look, if someone comes for me for one-on-one advice, they're like, here, should I join this and pay this, and they're going to give me that, I'll probably tell them, nah, probably not the best idea. What direction are you looking to take this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to be charging £1 million and getting fucking Margaret down the road that's a single mom on a sales call, that sort of way? But so I like, yeah, I just focus on
So they
myself,
go to move
really.
into increase your prices.
Yeah,
That's when
yeah.
when it comes to coaching.
All the
I'm
time.
like, look, I've got like I talk about like I've got mates, like best mates that charge thousands of pounds. They can do what they want. So yeah, and a lot of the time that they'll hear me talk, they're like, "Do you hate me?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't hate you."
Just don't
But like
agree.
some of my best
It's
mates,
good to have different perspective though. That's like a true
yeah,
friendship.
it's like you should be able to have your own fucking perspective, but at the
absolutely.
same time, other people can do what they want. Like I've got a lot of good friends and stuff that do like high ticket coaching and stuff, and there's a time and a place for it. Some people should be. Some people need to pay thousands of pounds to actually fucking have skin in the game because they've got so much money. But then there's nuance to it. But
Yep.
like yeah, I've got this stage where I just don't give a fuck really. I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
Do you think that's a bad way to go, calling out people consistently?
It depends what style of, like, for me, I just don't think it brings good energy. There's just like when you call out people, even if you are right, it's just bringing bad energy. They're coming after you. You're making too many enemies. Like I just like good energy, good vibes. I like making content where the comment section is filled with people being like, "This is the most helpful video
Yeah.
I've never heard it put like this." I don't like it being like, "Oh no, you shouldn't have called him out. His content's good," or like it's just this negative fucking thing. So some people are negative. Some people love that shit. Some people love drama. They love gossip. They love calling people out, and that's completely fine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. Like I used to do it all the time. I used to do it because you probably see like people like James Smith do it, and he's actually quite good at it. I really like it when he does it. He actually done a call out video the other day, and Darren commented under it being like, "What the like, where have you been?" or something, and I was like, "Yeah, I was getting worried about him because he hadn't done one
I
in
know.
ages."
I seen it.
So
Did you
like,
see it?
I think
So
he's good at him, and that's his personality type because that's the way he is in person. But for me, it's not my personality type. I'm quite like I don't really like arguments. I don't really like bad vibes or like anything like that. But there's a lot of people that do like it, and there's a lot of people that do a good job about calling out misinformation. So it's not like, see, with almost anything that you ask me to do with fitness, to do with business, it's not a yes or no. It's more so, what type of person are you? Should you be doing it? Does it fall in line with this? Like, it's the same as someone asked me about fitness. Should I be intermittent fast? And it's not a yes or no. It's like, well, do you like breakfast? And then you sort of figure. So it's not like everyone's going to post different types of content. There's a time and a place for certain types, but I know what I like posting at the minute.
I think as humans, we're definitely drawn towards controversy, negative kind of talk. That's why mainstream media, in a sense, is always the fucking the mad stories, and it captivates more eyes and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the mix can come from, because if it's not your personality type, you end up doing these sort of videos and then realise that's not what you want to do. It might work for James Smith and Bio Lane and all that sort of stuff, but Eugene Tail, I really like his stuff, because it comes from a place of neutral, and it's like, well, here's the pros and cons. Here's a good argument for it, good argument against it. Now make your own decision up. I much prefer that type of content instead of it always has to be this or that. And we can, this is how we started this podcast, actually. We disagreed on a lot of things. So we're like, let's come together, and from a place of respect as well, because I think you can get caught up on try to really tarnish somebody else's brand or name or whatever. And you can come from perspective and a place of respect to argue the opposing point, and that's we need more of that shit. No more fucking bullying.
We need more respectful debate on the internet, because like, I'll have my opinions on a lot of things, but I'm not saying I'm 100% right in everything that I talk about. But you need to. I hate when you're having a conversation with someone and they just want to argue with you. They're trying to prove you wrong. See, if I disagree with someone, I'm not trying to prove them wrong. I'm trying to see, right, where are you coming from? And then I'm trying to show them where I'm coming from. This is why I think this. Why is it that you think this? What evidence do you have to back that up? Whereas this whole, like, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're a cunt, it's like, it doesn't really get anywhere. So I think more people in life in general, it's not just fitness, it's not just business, it's fucking politics at the minute. People are so intolerant to each other. If someone has an opposing viewpoint to you, you automatically hate them. How can you just be left, or how can you just be right? It makes no sense at all. Are you saying that you agree with absolutely everything that these people say? No, take each actual individual thing. What piece? Like, I just don't. I really don't understand politics, and people get fried at me when I say I don't vote. So how can I vote with this person? I'm never going to agree. I'm never going to agree with absolutely everything that they say. And a lot of people, so many people go thick at that. Even people that are listening at the minute be like, "Oh, you're lucky that you're in a privileged position where you don't have to vote and you don't have the things that affect you." And maybe that is true, but hear me out. And people really aren't going to like this, but I don't even give a fuck. Other people, like, see, your one vote. And if everyone thought like this, it wouldn't work. Your one vote, Susan, it's not really going to make a massive difference. But if you actually, instead of focusing on that and putting all your time and effort into it, actually went and focused on something else, building, not saying you have to build a business, or like just focused on like what you can do personally, you probably would be a lot more happy, as opposed to being like, oh, this politician needs to do this or that. Now, I do understand that there is some people in like mad countries where it's like, like shit needs to change. But for the most part, you'd probably be sweet. And again, I'm not saying in every single situation, like, you might have some nuanced thing where it's all like, no, this is doing this and it's affecting my quality of life. Fine, that's completely fine. But like, politics, not really my jam.
I'm pretty sure we 100% agree with everything you've just said.
No, we did, but I'd honestly think, see, if I don't know if you want to have kids or that, but when we become fathers, I genuinely think that's when the switch will flick, because in a way, I don't really care about other generations just now, and I think that's when you start caring a little bit more. But politics is just, whether it's actual politics in society, or politics in your work, or how you communicate, I think it's just, it's a very fine art. But like you said, you come from a place, you grow as a person if you understand where the opposing argument comes from, as opposed to try to patronize each other and bring each other down instead.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'll be quite up to date, and I'll listen to a lot of political debates and things like that. But I just look at a lot of politicians and I'm being like, you're only saying that because you think that's going to make people happy and get you votes. Last year you said something completely different. So how can you completely change your tune? And then you'll have people that have certain viewpoints, and then as soon as their favorite politician takes a different stance, then suddenly their viewpoint changes too. It's like, hold on a minute, you don't actually have that viewpoint, you're just blindly following everything that this person says.
I remember someone making the comparison to like mainstream politics to the WWE, that we all know it's fake, but we still watch it and get involved with it anyway, and it truly is going that way. So pivoting a bit, so you're about to, or you have...
Pivot the fuck out of this conversation before I get
We'll end up all
cancelled.
getting cancelled.
I know. Going to have 100 Susans messaging us. What did he fucking say?
Hey, we're only spitting the truth.
So you're about to strategically hire someone into your business, and this is where becoming a true business owner and entrepreneur, because you become more hands off. Like, if from what you're telling me just now, like from the video editing, you're very like protective of how that looks, how the coaching conversation happens. How are you coping with that? Have you hired someone yet, or is it still to happen?
So up until this point, the only member of staff I've had is my sister, but my sister is the one that does all the design work. She makes everything look nice. If I'm doing a social circle event, she'll go and source the hotel. Like, I didn't even see the hotel that I booked for the social circle event until I posted it in the group, and someone was like, "Oh, that's a fucking sick hotel." I haven't even looked at it yet.
You're like, of course, mate.
She's the one that fucking sorted it, so she'll do all that stuff. She's been great. But now I'm hiring coaches. I actually have an interview with a coach straight after this podcast. So I'm hiring coaches. They haven't started yet. They'll be starting next week when the challenge goes live. I've tried to hire people that I'm aligned with, but there's always going to be difficulties. It's a completely new complexity when people are working for you and you're paying them a wage and you want them to act a certain way. Whereas I feel like I will manage it well. I feel like I'll have a good style of people working under me. I feel like I'll be a good person to work for. Extremely fair. I'm not bringing in people and being like, right, how can I pay these people as little as possible to do the most amount of work possible? I'm like, how can I pay these people a good wage so they'll actually want to stay with me and they'll deliver a really, really good service, because I've got the fucking money to pay them, and they'll have progressions within the business, but I need them to at the same time be a good coach and do good work for me. Like, someone asked me a really good question on an interview. They were all like, what would you expect from me if I was coming on as a client? And I would say, to be honest, see whatever I tell you to do that, but then go the extra mile and just do something else that I wouldn't even expect you to do as well. Just them little touches, like that's what I'll really like with people. If people do that for me, I'm like, right, you can fucking progress and move up within the business. But I think that I'll just be an extremely fair person. I want the best for everyone. I want everyone to do well. But again, I don't know how good I'll be at managing lots of people until I do it. But I'll find out next week.
Yeah, good. What's the vision then? So you're growing a team of coaches just now. Are you going to do anything in the back end in terms of admin or video editing, as much as you are very hands-on with that sort of stuff just now? Or are you in the process where you're like, you know what, I'm enjoying it, so I'm going to keep doing it?
See, for me, I will try and delegate as much as possible, apart from the like, I still always want to make my own content. Now, don't get me wrong, when I went up to Gold Coast, evidence-based training, Adam, he is this video editor, Trey, and he would record a video for us, and we would be sitting chatting after we record the video, and while we were chatting, he would be in the other room editing the video and then come out and airdrop it to us, and I was like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So if I got someone like that was really, really good at their job and knew the nuance of editing and how to zoom into certain words and how to do things the way I want them done, don't get me wrong, that would mean that I could produce more content and spend less time doing it. So eventually I'll get to a stage where I have a team, like, especially if I'm doing content for Social Circle, I'll just get someone to follow me around all day and then just take clips, just like fucking Gary Vee or something does. It's just like unlimited content. So I'll definitely scale that sort of way, and I'll always be looking, I'll always be testing things out. I maybe get a video editor, won't like them, get someone else, but definitely going to start hiring a lot more.
Good.
Like I've got this stage where I've done very, very well off doing everything myself. So I know that the next stage is to hire other people to do things that I don't technically need to do, so I can put more effort on the marketing and the actual like content within the app and things like that, and the coaching and the Zoom calls, like the creative stuff that actually needs me, and then being able to hire a team to do the other things, so then I can focus on scaling things further, which I'm extremely excited about.
Oh no, absolutely.
Sounds amazing.
And that's where it's going to take your business to the next level. But
yeah,
to get the success that you've got being a one-man band, albeit your sister's helped you with some stuff, that is very impressive. And not a lot of people, no matter which business you start out with, being a one-man band is hard to be wear the hats of many other things. So the next part of your life then, what's that journey looking like? So you got an app that you want to transition over, make it I've heard you say before, make it large scale in terms of competing against your Slimming World, your Herbalifes and that sort of thing, not from a nutrition perspective, but in terms of the awareness of it. Is that the goal then?
Yeah, we're going to take this app mainstream. We want to get a few thousand users in straight off the bat, see how we cope with that. But we want to scale this to hundreds of thousands of users, realistically. So we want to take the app mainstream. I want to continue what I'm doing with the social circle. I'm running the first live event for that the first weekend of September. Actually, the very start of September. It's like the second. So I'll be looking to do more speaking events and just looking to continue to grow. So like, yeah, I want to continue to grow. Don't get me wrong. I don't fucking need any more followers. I got like 5 million across my socials, but again, it's the gamified thing. Continue to grow, continue to do what I'm doing, but most importantly, continue to enjoy what I'm doing and enjoy life as well. Like the past 3 years has just been a lot of work, a lot of business, which I fucking love. But I'm like, right, you need to start doing other things that aren't this, because that's what life is for as well. So maybe buy golf clubs or something like that. You know, yeah. So like, it's probably get a bit of a better balance with actually doing other stuff as well. But at the minute, I'm enjoying everything. Yeah.
Maybe Sean Casey CrossFit next then.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that
either.
Who sponsor it?
Yeah.
No, good. Well, do you?
Oh no, so but obviously we're finishing soon. But you spoke about mindset. So I think one of the biggest things, like for if you're growing a big business and you're taking on more people, etc., is your mindset needs to be right. So you obviously said you're being mindset coached. So what is a couple of things that you've changed in your mindset or that have been brought into your life that have made you as productive as you could be?
So I've only started that. I've literally only had one call with it, so I haven't had this mental transformation. But I think, and did you say it in terms of increasing your productivity?
Yeah.
So definitely it will be understanding that you're not productive if you're working constantly all the time.
Yeah.
Because working shitly 24/7 is much worse than blocking out a few hours per day and actually having certain days that you take off completely. So I'm in the mindset, or I was in the mindset, I knew it was wrong if I looked at it logically. Whereas if I'm just working all the time, but I would have been working and then I would have been scrolling and then working. So I maybe would have done 4 or 5 hours work, but stretched it out into like 12 hours. Maybe maybe it would have been 6 or 7 hours work, stretched out into 12 hours. Whereas if I block off my day and then take a day off completely, recharge the batteries, that's going to improve my productivity. Yep. So actually working less technically, but working better while you're working is a much better way to go about things. And people fall in the trap of being like, oh, I need to go, I need to do check-ins, I need to bang them all out one after each other. It was like, why don't you do 5 check-ins, get up, have a glass of water, and then go down, or else do 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 20 minutes on, 5 minutes off. You will have literally get double the amount of work done, because you know after the 20 minutes you're having the 5 minutes off. Whereas if you think you're just working until the end of your check-ins or the end of whatever work block, you're probably going to be like, right, I'll scroll for a minute here.
Yep.
How to scroll, and then you end up actually taking that same break, but like being less productive. So you're going to be a lot more locked in if you actually learn the art of actually taking breaks and having downtime.
Are you still here?
Oh yeah, we're back. Just a wee glitch.
What part did we get to?
You're scrolling.
I basically said if you want to be more productive, learn how to not do shit sometimes.
Yeah.
Not work. Yeah.
Because I think especially our age, and ironically you create content for this, short form content, captivate attention, hook and all this sort of stuff, but we crave that
dopamine.
And ironically, I remember this being taught at school when you're studying for an exam, like there's 20 minutes on, 5 minutes, and I was like, load of bullshit. And ironically, it works really well when I apply it to my business, which is crazy. One last thing I wanted to ask you on that, and we never touched on, the app that you're going into partnership with someone. What's the sort of traits and importance that you see with partnering up with someone else? Because it's someone that you've coached yourself or a good friend?
Yeah, I'm partnering up with Evan Daly. In order to partner with someone, you have to know that you're basically aligned. You're not going to be 100% aligned in everything, but say in terms of fitness, me and Evan have our 2 separate groups. I coached him at the start. I helped him build his business and his social media. His group coaching is exactly the same with mine, because I mentored him. The business mentored him to create his, and we often host Zoom calls together. And every single Zoom call where we answer the same questions, and we've never disputed anything. We've never been like, oh no, that's right. Sometimes we'll maybe add things on that the other person forgot, or be like, oh, and here's another point, but it's always 100% agreement with everything. So if you're going into someone in a fitness business, you need to be aligned, because you're going to be coaching people the same thing. So you need to be aligned in your philosophies. And then this is something that people often forget when it's business partnerships and things like that. If you can't have a laugh with someone, that's probably not going to be the best person to go into a business. If everything's always go serious all the time, and sometimes you can't just sit there and be fucking idiots, that's not a good healthy dynamic to go into business. You need to be able to just sit and have the crack. So it's about having someone that is not only aligned and not only agrees with you on business and things like that, but it's having someone that you can have the crack with, and having someone that you can have difficult conversations with that you don't want to have, but you know that you need to have. It's like, right, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. Right, I'm not happy that you're doing this. Right, what percentage split are we doing with this? Like, how is this going to work out? This is what I think's for. This is what you think. And being able to come to a conclusion and make sure that everyone's happy. So there's so much that goes into it, and there's not many people that I would partner with. In fact, there's very, very few. Evan was the only person that I actually asked to partner at the start. Otherwise, I would have just been going doing it myself. So I wouldn't really recommend jumping into partnerships too often for business. Unless you know that, yeah, this is going to have great benefit. And for me, it was more so a case of like that he's one of my best mates. I'm like, I want to fucking like, if I'm going to the top, let's fucking bring the team up with me. You know what I mean? It'll be a bit of crack along the way, and it'll be enjoyable. But yeah, it's being very selective and careful about who you bring into and who you promise certain things to.
I mean, maybe need to bring a new podcast host.
Aye.
Ironically, everything that you said there pretty much aligns with
That's how
like
we are.
how we started. But you're so right. Like, if this was all about business and professionalism, this would be a pretty fucking
very
boring podcast.
boring.
Like a year later, so it's allowed us to be consistent. Every Monday and Thursday, release an episode, not miss a single week, and also nearly 100 episodes later, we're enjoying it still, and we look forward to doing that. And I think that's really one of the points that I missed. But there is a lot more hoops, I guess, I would imagine, that you need to jump through, because there's two decision makers of how does X, Y, and Z need to be run.
Yeah, but even like we were doing the naming, we're picking a name, and it's not announced yet, so I can't say anything, but we're picking a name, and even the marketing team was like, fuck, we've never had it where like you both actually agree on the same ones. And like, even when we were on the phone to the app developers, they were like, fuck, yous are very just aligned in everything that you're doing, so it's good to have that.
Good. What does that team like building that app out? Because I always think somebody could charge $5,000 to build an app, somebody could charge me $1 million to build an app. I would not have a clue where to start. Have you been guided on that, or have you had quite good experience?
It's just about, like, we got a referral to the team that's building our app, and they built apps for someone else that we know, and we've heard that they're good. So it's just about putting your trust in them and going with it. But I haven't seen anything yet of the app. It's just been starting to make, so I'll fucking have to come back to you.
I know, well, exciting, and hopefully we can get you on again in another couple of months or a year down the line and see where that's at. But thanks for your time.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure, lads. I've actually really enjoyed this podcast, and like, you clearly have actually listened to the podcast I've been on, because it was quite like a different one, and it was just enjoyable topics to talk about. Sometimes you go on a podcast and like, people are just reading you a question, and then you reply to it, and they're like, you're like, did you even listen to what I said before you moved on to the next question? Like, there's so many more things that we could have talked about in that one, but no, it was good. Well. It was good. I really enjoyed it. So, right, lads, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, mate. Have a nice day.